Hello and welcome to the Pig and Whistle Tales from Azeroth. As always, here at the Pig and Whistle in Stormwind, I go through a variety of subjects with regards to World of Warcraft. So grab a bottle or a pint, sit back and enjoy. This midweek episode, we're going to be going over PvP. Now, this might not be everyone's sort of cup of tea, but PvP in itself, every new season brings about some sort of challenges, and I want to sort of go over some of the more pet peeves of seasoned PvP, what they're doing wrong constantly on a basis, stuff like that. But this is going to dip into everything from cooldown usage to solo shuffle to threes bracket to absolutely everything. So we're going to start off with solo shuffle. Now, I'm a very big advocate for solo shuffle. I think that it's very good. I think it's amazing that it's been brought into the game. I think that there is a couple problems with it. Okay, one being the fact that there is a lack of healers, and we'll get onto this. We will get onto this. The second one being that people aren't really the most. How do we put this? They're usually dickheads in solo shuffle. Genuinely, this isn't everyone. Obviously, this is a select few people, but people will look to complain in solo shuffle when something happens, and they'll complain about anyone, okay? Usually this is the healers that get it. So, I'm practicing my Resto Shaman. The start of the season, Season 2, has seen a lot of balance changes. This has seen Disc Priest have like a kind of rework, same with MMs, multiple things. Disc Priest right now is insane. It's like a 60% play rate, when it was 40% last season, and it's just outperforming every other sort of healer, essentially, in the game, by a quite decent margin, okay? Closely, that's followed by, probably you're looking at your Resto Shaman, your Dwagons, that sort of thing. But I'm practicing my Shaman. Shaman is a class that I wanted to play since the beginning of last season, but Resto Shamans were horrendous last season, which is kind of sad because I love the idea of Resto Shaman. I've played Resto Shaman before back in BFA, Shadowlands a bit and stuff like that. And I love the whole aspect and kind of idea of a shaman. You're putting down your totems, you're very nature orientated, kind of like your druids and stuff. So I wanted to practice my shaman and solo shuffle. This meant that obviously I'm going to be at a little bit of a lower MMR. And whenever you try and learn a new spec, you obviously are thinking, what the hell am I pressing? What's my big cooldowns? What's my save this person? Oh shit button. You're thinking all of these things. And when you go into solo shuffle, you put yourself as a target as a healer, sadly. So I'm practicing my shaman. It's not a bad MMR at the start of the season. It's not bad for it never being played in solo shuffle really as Resto. I did a few last season, but that was kind of it. So it's not a bad MMR, but I'm trying to play the game essentially, just normally, trying to learn the class and trying to figure out what's what, cooldown rotation, stuff like this. Now, people who've played Shaman will realise, Resto Shaman, that a lot of things are very infuriating. People running out of your earthen wall totems, stuff like this. These are big cooldowns that people don't look at and don't realise are on the floor when you're playing in solo shuffle. So people will kite out of your earthen wall totem and you won't get any value from it and stuff. And these sort of things for a Resto Shaman are huge. Okay, now I go up against Disc Priests. Okay, on my monk, on my shaman, it's only Disc Priest that I see and have come up against so far. I don't think I've come up against any other healer in solo shuffle, which is quite unfortunate. But it's... How do I explain this? You're trying to learn a new class whilst dealing with the best healing spec in the game right now, which is Disc Priest, okay? So when you lose 4 rounds and you win 2, or you win 1 round and you lose 5, yes, it can be due to skill. Some of it probably is, because I probably could win some of these rounds if I know what I'm pressing, but I'm still just learning the class. I don't care about my solo shuffle rating. I really, really don't. I'd learn it. I learn these classes so that I can play them in actual threes. Okay, that's how I view solo shuffle. I view them as a learning ground for new classes, essentially, because I have a decent understanding of most of the specializations in the game, but to get better at them, you need to just play and play and play. And the people that I play with in threes aren't always available. Okay, so solo shuffle is the go-to there. But when you get these losses and when you lose, it's always, oh my god, why didn't you heal me there? And it's like, bro, I tried. Like, there was an example of like the second game that I ever played, like in season 2, so second ever solo shuffle on my Resto Shaman in season 2. I was on Maldraxxus, big map. I was getting constantly CC'd. Okay, constantly CC'd, because I'm with a melee cleave, and it's like a warrior and a survival hunter or something. It's pretty rough. But essentially, this hunter is harpooning away from me, constantly going out of the earthen walls and stuff. And when I know that he needs the like trinket spirit link totem, this is a big cooldown to save him. I trinket straight into a literal fear. And the thing is, like, he just happened to press it at the same time, because the Hodge was like, I don't know, couple seconds already into it, so I was holding off to see like whether or not he needed it and stuff. And I went to trinket link him, and I trinketed, got feared, and the fear ran out. But the thing is, I was too far away to link because someone needed to be within that range, and our warrior was on a completely different target. Okay, so the warrior's on one target, the other side, the hunter's on one, and I'm feared away from them, so I can't link. And what Spirit Link Totem is, for those that don't know, is that it shares your health pool. So if someone's at 1% and you're at 100%, you both go to 50%. Yeah? Does that make sense? Because it's sharing your health pool with the other person's, and it evens it out constantly. So, yeah, that's the problem. And then the hunter dies. Hunter dies, by the way, without pressing his wall, his turtle, his aspect of the turtle, or his Flame Death. Okay, so 3 big cooldowns that he has that can save him. Okay, Flame Death probably doesn't when he gets that low, but he can at least press his wall high because it gives him, or his wall because it will heal him. Because when you use your wall as a hunter, it now does exhilaration on you as well, so it does give you a bit of a heal. Turtle is just a big immunity, so there's all of that. And then we load into our rooms after the next round, after that round is complete, and I have the audacity of the warrior saying, why didn't you link him? And it's like, no one's close to him, so I can't link both of you, that you being the warrior and the hunter. I got feared away, so I was in CC, which, by the way, warriors can break if they're running a berserk talent, which he wasn't. And then, secondly, you still have rallying cry, so you can save him with a rallying cry. And fourthly, fifthly, I don't know what I'm on at this point, I've already forgotten, but he has turtle, wall, feign death, but he's not the one getting shit, I am. Because I didn't use every single cooldown that I had. Link was the only thing I had left. I'd used my Ascendance, I'd used my Earthen, I'd used my Totemic Recall to do another Earthen, I'd used my Healing Streams, I used my Healing Tide, I'd used everything. But it's my fault that he died. No. He's chasing after like a caster or something that's in Uganda away from me, which means that I'm putting myself in CC. And it's not like I'm avoiding this CC. I think I grounded like a couple Hodges like in that round alone. I tremored one fear. Like you don't have the cooldowns for it though. You really don't. And the thing is, you can outplay grounding totem. You just wait it out. You run over like you're gonna Hodge. The shaman will put down grounding totem, and then you just kill it, and then you Hodge. Like, it's one of these things. So, like, it's impossible to sort of gauge whether or not you could have saved him. I could have, but no one was near him to save, and that was my only cooldown left. But this warrior insists that it was on me to save him. Not him, not the hunter himself, but on me. And the thing is, I was saving him the entire round. Now it was his turn to press his defenses, and he doesn't do it. I can't control that. I cannot. but I'm the one that gets stick for it because he died. And this is a problem. This is a problem. This shows the lack of awareness that people have in PvP. All right, this shows that people have become desensitized to actually looking at what's happening in the game and looking at their weak aura that goes beep when someone presses a big offensive cooldown, and then they look at their health and it's like, oh, they're not killing me, so I don't care. You know, the difference between higher level players and lower level players playing the same spec is their awareness and their knowledge of what is happening, and I can actually help save them. Because if the warrior pressed rallying cry, he probably could have saved him. I probably could have gotten there in time to use my spirit link totem. But he doesn't think that. He thinks, I need this for myself. And now you've sat on a cooldown the entire round that you haven't used, but you're blaming me when you could have saved him. And it's ridiculous. Another one that shows the awareness of people, and it really is bad because a lot of people do rely on their weak auras, their addons. They're going to rely on all of these, and they're not actually going to look at their screen. So this one, for example, I have a Retribution Paladin, I have an Elemental Shaman on my team. I am against a Disc Priest, a Shadow Priest, and a Destro lock. It was one of the locks. I think it was Destro. So, what do all of these classes have? They all have a fear, okay? They have a fear, they have a silence, they have one stun in Psychic Horror, but they all have fear. What do Retribution Paladins have, and what do Elemental Shamans have? Okay? They have a Tremor Totem. This isn't on my Shaman, by the way. This was on my Monk, so I couldn't Tremor this, just so that you guys know. But this is on my Mistweaver Monk. Okay, now Mistweaver's been underperforming a lot, but back to the story. I have a Retribution Paladin who has Blessing of Sank. Okay, and I have a Ellie Shaman who has Tremor. Okay, Tremor Totem being something that can get you out of fears. Blessing of Sank can get you out of fears and silences. Yeah, this is a 45-second cooldown and a minute cooldown. Okay, now I played all 6 rounds. I got feared probably 20 times, I think. Yeah, about 20 times. Once I got, dispelled of it via a Tremor Totem or a Blessing of Sank. It was a Blessing of Sank that got me. The Shaman didn't press Tremor at all when he was on my team. I don't know if he pressed it on the other team, but when he was on my team, he didn't. So the way Solo Shuffle works, you obviously switch people every single round. So one person will be on the other team, someone will go on to their team, etc. So 1 round out of 6 is when I didn't have either of these. I didn't have a Tremor Totem or a Sank, which is fine. But the other 5 rounds, I think it came out to about 20 sort of fears in total. And the thing is, we lost because of these fears. These fears were very impactful, but they shouldn't be because I have stuff to get out of it. I have people that can get me out of fears. And it's ridiculous. And they just didn't press it. And again, I don't know if that's just lack of awareness, which I believe it is. I do believe that people have the lack of awareness in arenas because they rely on their add-ons so much. I genuinely do. They rely on soundboards that go beep, beep, boop, boop. And it's what the fuck? It's like when Primordial Waves pressed or something in Season 1 of The War Within, you heard the Primordial Wave sound, and then it's okay, I need to be careful because the Shaman's going to pump out a shit ton of damage now. And, yes, that's good to have, but you need to pair that with the actual, the awareness of more than a pet rock, okay? People only play Solo Shuffle, and they complain when they lose a round, but then when you look them up, they've never played 3s, because they can't play 3s. 3s is a different game to Solo Shuffle. Solo Shuffle, if you're playing the right spec and class, you will automatically do well in that bracket. If you're playing 3s, you can make the worst comp decent if you're just good players with good communication and good awareness, okay? In Solo Shuffle, it's a different game. I bet that this Elemental Shaman that I was playing with was very good last season because Elemental Shaman was one of the highest like picked classes in the game because its simple rotation, its damage output was very good. But this season it got heavily nerfed, I believe, from the small rework that it's had, and it's just useless. And the thing is, he never bothered to understand like that he should be using these Tremor Totems to get your healers out of fears and stuff. He never understood these sort of things because all he did was press damage, and that won him the game because dampening is a big thing in solo shuffle. But his awareness is dog shit. That's the difference, and that's the sad thing. That's the sad thing, that people aren't as good as they think they are because they only rely on the damage from their class and it being one of the meta classes at that time. So people need to get the awareness back into the game of PvP because it's not there. People are losing it because of add-ons, because they hear beep and then it's like, oh shit, massive damage. Oh, it's not on me, so I don't care. That's the healer's job. And it's like, no, it needs to be everyone's job still. If the healer gets CC'd on the damage, then what? If I get feared and then he presses his big damage, but you're an elemental shaman, what are you going to press? You're going to just let yourself die, or are you going to Tremor Totem to get your healer out of the CC, and then they can help you? Yeah? So you've helped them, and then they can help you kind of deal. But I don't get this. People don't use their buttons in Arena. And the thing is, like, Blessing a Sank is a PvP talent. So he's actively taking a PvP talent that he's not using in the game. So what's the point? And the thing is, Retribution Paladins have like 5 buttons anyway. Less than 5 buttons to press anyway. So what are you doing? It's ridiculous. People need to get the awareness back into PvP. And I think that it's completely gone because people do rely on it too much with add-ons. They really, really do. And it's ridiculous. I just don't get it. Now, I want to show, or not to show you, but I want to go over this forum post, because this ties into a lot of what I've just been talking about. So, you want more healers in solo shuffle is the title. Then stop being total jerks to your healers. Stop blaming your losses on healers for your bad positioning, lack of impactful CC, and poor target choices. Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with the first sentence. I'm a DPS main. I have probably shit-talked a healer once in solo shuffle, and I don't like doing it, but sometimes it is. I mean, I remember the guy that I shit-talked it. He was actively throwing, and the thing is, he didn't even like hide it. He actively said, "I'm throwing." Like after the first round, because he lost the first round, he's just like, "I'm not playing with this guy. I'm throwing." And it's like, really, dude, come on. Your mentality's like rock bottom, like bottom. It's ridiculous. That's the only sort of healer I've, thrown some hands with, basically, because it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Get over yourself. Like, just play the game. Ridiculous. But I've had many people die on my team due to lack of bad positioning, lack of impactful CC, and poor target choices. I've had people who were on completely different targets before, like in solo shuffle. Example was that warrior and the hunter that I described at the start of this podcast. Like, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. All you got to do as DPS is say, this target, easy. And then you can use the ping system to ping who you are killing. Like, it's ridiculous. I am very aware of who my rogue wants to kill, let's say. If I'm playing Rogue Boomy, I'm very aware of who my rogue wants to kill. As for CC, some people do just throw it out, and it's a bit ridiculous. The biggest culprit, though, is bad positioning. The amount of times I've seen people go around a corner, which means that your healer has to go out from where they are, where they're comfortable positioning, and they have to put themselves in danger of getting CC'd, of getting switched to, of getting, multiple things, and they die because they are around a corner and your healer can't get there quick enough, and then they're like, what the fuck, why didn't you heal me? And it's like, bro, you literally can't, you're line of sighting, and it's ridiculous. Carrying on with this anyway, every match has a dumb DPS mouthing off. Meanwhile, it was their mistake that cost them the match. I agree. I think most DPS players are the reason that a match is lost. Now, I like I said, I main DPS, I main Boomy. I've probably cost my healers their positioning, which cost us the match. I've also won my healer, like I've also won rounds because of my positioning for our healer. Okay, like it can go both ways, but a lot of people aren't as accustomed to being positionally adept, if that makes sense. They don't understand what the positioning of a healer does for just their team in general. Okay, and this is because a lot of people don't or aren't the targets. If you're looking at an arms warrior or a fury warrior, you genuinely aren't the target most of the time when it comes to being, the 1 DPS to kill or something. So they aren't as sort of ready for it or understand the positioning as much. Because it's like, oh, I'm not the target. I just do my damage. I press rallying cry when I'm told to for my other DPS. I'll intervene every now and again. But when it comes to them being the target, suddenly they have to run back when they should be running, or they have to run back. Instead, they're running in to do more damage. And it's like, oh, this is really bad for us. You need to back the fuck up. And yeah, it's tough. It is really, really tough because some people just don't know that part of the game, and it's ridiculous. Blizzard needs to start banning people for their toxic whispers too. It is beyond frustrating getting whispers from DPS spewing toxic and hateful replies. You should never be spewing hateful or toxic messages in a game. You just shouldn't. Just report them, and hopefully the Blizzard system will do its thing. But yeah, it's shit. It is very shit, and people need to stop doing this in the game. This is why no one wants to heal in solo shuffle. You can shove all the rewards you want at people, but no one is going to heal anything with all these toxic jerks. I agree. I do somewhat agree. I think that DPS who haven't fully grasped what's happened or how we lost the round is one of the most detrimental things in solo shuffle. Because our healer could be out of cooldowns in a full CC chain, and yet it will still be their fault. Because it's like, oh, why are you getting CC'd? And it's like, bro, your positioning is making me having to push in to heal you so that you aren't dying. Because I either have a choice of, I leave you to run off into the sunset and then you die just due to damage, or I have to chase after you, get CC'd and then you died, but I still get blamed either way. And it's like, you still have 20 cooldowns that you can press, but you refuse to press them high health. So who's really at fault here? And it's like, well, you were meant to keep me alive. And it's like, yeah, whatever. And people do this, and it's fucking ridiculous. It is ridiculous. I'm sorry, but you cannot be blaming your healers for every loss. Sometimes, yes, healers lose you the game, okay? But sometimes you lose yourself the game due to positioning, due to the other DPS not doing anything, due to you not CCing, due to your bad positioning, due to you not pressing defensive cooldowns. There's many different things that can occur in a game that make you lose that round. And sometimes it's just the classes. Sometimes it genuinely is the classes. I was with a dragon, an evoker, and a disc priest in the game. And it's double hunter, and I think it was a warrior or something. Now, this dragon was 0 and 5. All right, I had the dragon for the last round, so I'm like, okay, how do I play with a dragon? I have to make sure that he's close, make sure that me and the other person are kind of somewhat close to each other, so he gets more value out of Dream Breath. I need to know that he's constantly going to want to rescue me, and when he rescues me up the top of Mugambala, I need to make use of that positioning. So I need to keep my distance while he tops me up, whilst he deals with our other hunter that's, taking a bit of damage, and we end up winning the last round. And that's due to the fact that I kind of understand what an evoker wants and what the healer wants. A lot of the other classes that were in that game didn't understand it because it seemed like they'd never played healer. But sometimes it's genuinely because of the spec. Disc Priest is so good right now into everything. So you have to play exceptionally well to beat a Disc Priest at the moment as another healer. And I know that, so I need to up my game as well when I'm on the Evokers team and sort of understand when to be pressing my defensives, when I can burst and stuff like that. So it's so many factors in a solo shuffle that can hinder or improve your chances of winning. But everyone needs to stop slandering healers. Genuinely. And that's coming from a DPS main. That genuinely is something that can't happen. You need to stop slandering people in solo shuffle in general. But because the healer's the odd one out on the team, it's like, oh, there's 2 DPS, 1 healer. Yeah, it's healer's fault. Yeah, sure. And it's like, that's just not the case, is it? Like, you're the and then what you'll do is that you'll make this healer stop playing solo shuffle, and then you'll be sat there in a queue and be like, oh my god, why is no one queuing solo shuffle? Dead game. And it's like, well, because you're making healers quit. Because you're the dumbass who's like chatting shit about healers, and it's like, just get over yourself. You aren't anything special. In fact, you're probably not even normal. You're the dickheads who are being dickheads and causing people to quit the game. And it's ridiculous. People just don't understand it. They really don't. But look, that's my rant over for this week. Thank you all very much for listening. Do check out all of the socials down below. Constant stuff happening, as well as the Etsy shop. Multiple things happening. I'm looking to put up a couple of D&D products this week, so keep an eye out for that. But yeah, thank you all very much once again, and go with Valor, friend. Goodbye all.